What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today we've got 5 games of gameplay with the Arsenal themed team, if you like. We've got some comments. Before we get into the comments, thank you guys for being here. If you could drop a thumbs up on the video, it would be very much appreciated. I just generally appreciate you guys a lot for being here and for showing up every day. I know we talk about this a lot because it's on my mind a lot, but I have this massive internal struggle with wanting to grind the gameplay of this game versus not wanting to grind the gameplay of this game and playing to the absolute bare minimum. And on that note, I can't remember if I talked about this only on stream or if I also talked about it in video yesterday, but Air Japes, remember him, Air Japes FIFA? I wish he kept making content, man. He was one of my favourite FIFA YouTubers back in the day. It's sad for me that he decided to pursue other avenues. But Japes had tweeted, let me grab this. So EA had tweeted the Optimus Prime icons. And Japes responded saying, unless pack weights are changed, I do not understand the point of this promo. He continued to say, the amount of content release is fantastic, but much of it has become demoralizingly inaccessible for your average player. This will continue to lead to additional frustrations and negative sentiment. I firmly believe that players should be able to grind to elite cards via gameplay alone. We're going to break down what he said in just a second, but I responded with, this is specifically what I think is missing from the game and why I turn away from playing past what is reasonably needed for rewards. So to kind of break down what I mean, and we have been through this to death, is the fact that whether you get to Gold 3 or what my best this year, Elite 2, the chances of getting something is entirely based on RNG of packs and not based on your skill in the game. You get a little extra for playing to a much higher degree, and it's not enough. You get 1 extra red pick from Gold 3 to Elite 2. You get a 100k pack and a Team of the Week pack, which are just shocking value this year for Elite 2, versus, let's say, Gold 2, where you get 2 rare mega packs and a rare gold pack, plus 45,000 coins. I do believe Gold 2 is probably the most efficient way to play this game if you're good at the game, because you get 4 red picks to pick from for your 2 players. You get good coins, only 5k less than Gold 1. You get decent packs in general. The rare gold packs, in my opinion, are akin to 50k packs, and it's all pretty good. To break down what Japes is talking about, even what he says is his first comment, and this is again regarding the Optimus Prime icons. He says, unless pack weights are changed, I do not understand the point of this promo. He then continues to say, the amount of content is released is fantastic, but much of it has become demoralizingly inaccessible for your average player. I don't even think that's a fair assessment. I think even players well above your average player can't access these players. These Optimus Prime icons, they are just absolutely inaccessible to most people, unless you get stupidly lucky to pack one. You don't have the luxury of getting them. And then, when he continues to say that elite cards should be grindable via gameplay only, what he means there is, because they are theoretically grindable by gameplay only, it is just the most arduous, boring way to do things. And what I mean by that is you can just play champs, play rivals, play squad battles, play the weekly objectives, get all, accumulate all the coins and packs and cards that you get, and then get an elite card off the back of that. But what I think Japes means, and what we've talked about a fair bit, and what I would love to see in this game, is winnable cards, not winnable packs. Even Nick said on stream the other day, talking about the weekly objectives, one of the weekly objectives now gives or last week gave a Prime Gold Players pack. I don't want another pack. I have unlimited access to packs. The League SBCs give me unlimited access to packs. All the marquee matchups and Champions League marquee matchups and all the special SBCs that we get on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis give me packs. Foot Champs gives me packs. Foot Rivals gives me packs. Squad Battles gives me packs. Give me players. And I've asked for this for a long, long time. Give me players. Don't give me packs. And with what Jape says, allow us to earn the players I talked about and thought about a lot over the last few months, and specifically FIFA 19, what my favourite FIFA really was. I always was under the banner of the most recent FIFA is my favourite because it is the most recent FIFA. But after long discussions with you guys in streams, I think FIFA 17 was probably my favourite FIFA, but it stemmed from the end of FIFA 16, and that came from the Futties tournament, where you could win Fatih's Konoplyanka, Fatih's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Fatih's Marcus Royce. And they were insane cards. They were way above and beyond what anyone reasonably had in their team. And they were winnable. And it was based on skill. You had to win. You had 10 attempts to win the tournament. The first win gives you Konoplyanka. The second win gave you Aubameyang. And the third win gave you Royce. So if you're not great at the game, yes, you might not win the tournament. And I think that's why EA have gone down the SBC route. But they could still make it so that it's based on, you know, they could do tournaments where it's not based on wins per tournament, but wins in the tournament. So imagine this. They have a tournament mode, and within this tournament mode, you have 3 cards, but it's the same player. Let's take Aubameyang as an example, because he's always available. He's always like an SBC card or special card in general. So you have three versions of this Aubameyang. Version number 1 is an 89 rated or a 90 rated Aubameyang, and you accomplish that from winning 8 games in the tournament. Not winning 8 tournaments or anything like that, winning 8 games in the tournament. You get the next Aubameyang for winning the tournament, and then you get the final Aubameyang for winning all of the games available within the tournament. And so if we had a 90 rated Aubameyang, and a 92 rated Aubameyang, and a 95 rated Aubameyang, it would just, you know, winning just 8 games would be enough to get you a 90 rated Aubameyang. And that's what Japes means, like, grinding for cards through gameplay alone needs to be a viable option. Otherwise, it comes down to the fact of, what are we playing the game for? And that's why I said to him, you know, that's why I only play to what's reasonably necessary, is because for me, the gameplay isn't fun enough or rewarding enough to want to continue playing past what's reasonable. Maybe my example of the tournaments and the Aubameyangs as well is a bit overstretched, and some people say, oh, you can't just be handing out 90 rated cards to everyone, but EA already do it just via SBCs. You know, they already do it with the flashback SBCs, with icon SBCs, but they're not enjoyable because you don't earn them through gameplay. And although you get your coins through gameplay, it's not, the connection isn't there. One of the reasons why I love Joelinton, Parolo, Martinez, Santi Cazorla, those 4 cards specifically, Jonathan Tah as well, as much as I hated grinding towards them, what I loved grinding for was the fact that I knew what I was getting at the end of it, and I had the option to play or not play. And even Parolo, who I've never used, I might have bring him on 1 game, I think, as a sub. Even Parolo, who I've never used, I still opted in to get him because I like the collecting card aspect of this game. And you could choose not to do those players, or you could choose to do those players, but grinding for those players was so much fun because, as I say, I knew what I was getting at the end of it. And that's why I like SBCs and why I like the menu side of FIFA, is because I know what I'm getting out of that. And when you go into the gameplay with the rewards, you just don't know. And so, yeah, I think it would be great for EA to give us, probably next year now, it's unlikely we'll get it this year. We're pretty much stuck in our ways for the rest of this year. I feel like I would like to see tournaments back so that we could win players, not packs. And you might argue, oh, you can win Team of the Week players now. You get 2 of them. You just got to pick one that out of your selection. But the Team of the Week is generally just terrible. The Champions League and Europa League has Man of the Match cards in packs right now. There's only 7 of them. But EA should also put those cards like in FUT Champs. So not only do you get your, let's say you finish Gold 1, not only do you get your 2 100k packs and your 2 red player picks, you also get a Man of the Match player pick. Or you also get a 1 to watch player pick. Or you also get a Prime Icon pack or an Optimus Prime Icon pack where it gives a heightened chance of packing a Prime Icon. It's 1 gold player, it's untradeable, and it gives you like 10 times the chance of normal of packing a Prime Icon. Like, things like that, even that in itself is just a pack that you don't know what you're getting, but at least you know a little bit more what you're playing for. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is why I'm thanking you. I'm thanking you for watching so much, because I am in limbo with myself, and all I do every video is vocalize that to you guys, and it probably sounds like the same video over and over again. You're probably like, we've heard this. I don't want to hear this anymore. So hear this instead. Other than thank you for being here, I end up 4-2 after my first 6 games with this Arsenal squad, and even though I have got some phenomenal players in this squad, I realised very quickly 2 things. Number one, if you don't play with your best players in this game, you are just putting yourself at a disadvantage for no good reason. And I know I've already even spoke about that to a degree, you know, in terms of like using teams in rivals for fun and stuff. People don't care about your fun. And so when I go into these games with my Arsenal team, it's not good enough. And although, as I say, I have got some great players in there. We've got Ferdinand, we've got Kante, you know, we've got Robertson, who's pretty good, Petr Cech, who's okay but not amazing, as good as any goalkeeper, I suppose, theoretically. What I realised, I suppose, three things. The second thing is that team balance is imperative, more so than I ever really knew or thought of before. Remember back in month 1, month 2 of this road to glory, I was always like, man, I'm missing this position, and once I get this position, my team will feel more balanced. And for me specifically, it was centre-backs and CDMs. I just had terrible players in those positions, and it constantly cost me games. Well, this team here, I've loved my Kante and Ballack CDM partnership. They just work impeccably together. Having Kante and Torreira together didn't work at all. They were too short. Both of them are just really small. It's a big problem. When you come up against teams who have like that Ibrahimovic that gets subbed on every game and have other big players like Aubameyang and Player of the Month and stuff like that, they just get bullied in midfield. You need a powerhouse midfielder. So team balance is extremely important. And even team balance in your own play style. You know, I always tell people when they're like, what are your custom tactics? How do you set your team up? Doesn't matter how I set my team up because it works for me. How you set your team up, it needs to work for you. And where that comes from, where that stems from, is the fact that I set my team up now this year to engage mostly in crossing because I find that to be a stupidly overpowered way of scoring, whether or not it's the meta or anything like that. For me personally, it works extremely well. And so I gear my team for that. And that comes down to the point that Gareth Bale and Ibrahimovic specifically, they both have exceptional crossing stats and exceptional ability to head the ball. Playing with Aubameyang and Marko Arnautovic, they both have one of those things, but not the other. They can both head the ball very well, but they can't cross. And I experienced through playing these games here, that and this might be why a lot of you guys are having problems with crossing, where you're saying it's not working for me, yet I'm showing you that it's working for me. But one of the things that I realized here is that having somebody that has the ability to cross the ball is seemingly more important than having somebody that has the ability to head the ball. Because I was scoring headers with Lacazette and winning headers with Kante that didn't make the clips in this video, and winning headers with Mkhitaryan. I scored a header with Mkhitaryan and a header with Lacazette. So the scoring part of the headers comes more down to the accuracy of the cross. And if you don't have the accuracy of the cross right, you're not really going to have the chance to score the headers. And I saw that a lot whilst editing this video back, where I'd pop in a cross with Aubameyang and it would go to the top of the box where my CDM was, not to the back post where Arnautovic was. And that was because he has terrible crossing. In fact, what does he actually have for crossing? Aubameyang has, I have a Sentinel on him obviously, he has 81 crossing. And that's not even that bad, but it was noticeable compared to Ibrahimovic, who with the Catalyst goes up into the high 90s. And Gareth Bale, who also has good crossing, as we get a second walkout there. Arnautovic has okay crossing as well, 87. But again, in terms of setting your team up for what you need it for, I should have switched Arnautovic and Aubameyang around. And the reason why is because the most efficient way that I've found to cross the ball is getting down the byline, dragging it back and cutting it across to be like an in-swinger or like, you know, curving, you know, turning away from the line and crossing it in then, instead of running and then crossing it immediately. And so Arnautovic, that cross doesn't work. So when Arnautovic is running down the right-hand side, if I cross it in with his right foot, it's not a good cross. And then if I cut back to his left foot, he only has a 4-star weak foot and he only has 87 crossing. I don't know what that represents necessarily, but his crosses just weren't very good. Which is why, again, the Bale and Ibrahimovic combo works so well, is because they're both perfectly suited to the positions they're playing. Gareth Bale, he can jump, he can head, he can shoot, he's got 4-star skill moves, he's rapid, he's very tall, and he's left-footed. So when I cut back and turn in onto his left foot, I've got the perfect crossing angle with him. Ibrahimovic, the same. He's fast, he's tall, he can shoot, he's got the El Tornado cross available to him if I want it, and brilliantly, he's right-footed. So when I drag back with him and get into the space for the cross, he can perfectly cross it to the back post for Gareth Bale. So with those two players, I just have two absolute perfectly suited players for exactly what I want to do with my main style of scoring goals. With Arnautovic and Aubameyang, it didn't work. The other thing that I came to realize as well, as you saw with the 2 games that I lost at the end there, I lost them late on. And the reason why I lost them late on is because of stamina. And you don't really feel it if you only have one player here or there that has low stamina costing you games. But Mkhitaryan was always dead. Aubameyang gets very tired, especially because I'm playing him on the wings very quick and he doesn't have the greatest stamina anyway. Lacazette was always losing stamina. Torreira has great stamina. He was fine, as was Kante. But having those attackers specifically, having like really lack of stamina and then not fitting my play style and how I want to play this game, it just hurt me going forwards. I was just lost a lot of the times trying to score goals. And I get frustrated at myself for just not being able to... It's not being able to. I get frustrated at myself for not putting in the effort to learn to play with what isn't what I have found that works for me. And I'm going to go back to my main team now for the rest of the games to get my 14 wins or 17 wins perhaps. You know, it should get to 17 wins really, because it's just much better rewards. But I'm going to go back to my main team, and it's so better suited in terms of the balance of the team and in terms of the way I can score goals that I'm excited to get back on and turn this 4 wins, 2 losses into hopefully 17 wins and no more than 4 losses. You know, that's kind of the plan. And there was one comment. There was one comment from PS Erska. And he says, just curious, Nep, surely you can't enjoy the game if you're using crosses for 90 minutes. And I don't understand, like, yeah, we've talked a little bit about crossing today because it's talking about my playstyle and the way I enjoy this game. But I was talking previously about, you know, when the new patch came out, or even a week before the new patch, how I found crossing to be very overpowered and how I thought it was going to become the new meta. And it isn't. And the reason why it isn't is because a lot of people just can't do it. And I think a lot of people can't do it for the reasons I've just explained. I think a lot of people can't do it because they don't have the team set up properly and they don't have the players that are necessary to be able to perform not necessarily the headers, but more specifically the specific cross and having high crossing values to match that. I don't think people are geared up for that. And so I think a lot of people tried it, failed with it, and were just dismissive of it. And I respect that. I can understand that. But other than that, I haven't really pushed the narrative anymore that it's overpowered or anything like that. I've been trying the low-driven finesses. I've been trying volleys from the top of the box, which are 2 other really effective methods to score goals. But I don't cross for 90 minutes. I play the game, and if the opportunity to cross arises, I'll throw the cross in. And because of the way people are so compact and so narrow at the moment, because everyone's on 1 depth, 4-2-3-1, 4 men in the box, 2 CDMs on top of them and bringing one of their cams back, it just gives me lots of opportunity to have my wide players get lots of time on the ball, lots of space, and cross the ball in. You'll notice from my goals, yeah, I score predominantly crosses, but I actually score a lot of other goals in a lot of other methods. So to say that I just cross for 90 minutes, I don't think is very fair at all. And the question should also be, just curious, Nep, surely you can't enjoy this game if you're using exploit for 90 minutes, because that for me is what the problem is. Before the patch, all everyone was doing for 90 minutes was hitting back to goal, 90 degree, 180 degree spin, swivel, timed finesse shots to the top corner with players who had absolutely no right of scoring those goals. And that wasn't fun either. It was just the way that people had found to most consistently score most efficiently. This new patch, I think through balls and counter-attacks are probably the most efficient way to score goals now. Definitely the way I concede my goals the most is by giving up possession, getting countered and conceding a goal. And that's really frustrating for me because even though I'm not on 1 depth, I am on drop back, but I'm not on 1 depth. And that probably hurts me. I probably should go back to 1 depth. But when I'm on 1 depth, I just hate the game to the point where I don't want to play it. So I'm actually, you would think, oh, that isn't even a big change, but I'm on 3 depth, right? But the difference between 1 depth and 3 depth, right, is when I lose possession of the ball on 3 depth, my team is pushed up enough to the point where people can actually get in behind and counter-attack me. When I lose possession of the ball on 1 depth, my team is basically on the edge of my own box still. They never get counter-attacks. But I don't like having a 3-man versus 8-man attack, and I also don't enjoy then conceding the ball, having 3 of his attackers versus 6 or 7 of my defenders. It is a game I don't want to play. So I'm sacrificing somewhat. You know, I'm not saying that I'm losing games because of it necessarily. I'm losing some games because I'm just not figuring this patch out perfectly yet. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily fair to assume that I cross for 90 minutes, but I definitely am not on the ball right here. And again, playing with this Arsenal team unlocked again a few fundamental issues of my gameplay that I see, especially when I'm editing back. All I see from my opponents is them never controlling their back line. And when you see me score, I either score with a cross, which it benefits me again if they don't control their back line with crossing. It's another reason why for me it's very strong, is because when you don't control your back line and I cross the ball, you're not going to be in the right position to defend the header, which is perfect for me. The other thing is, when they do control their back line, that's when I don't score crosses. That's when I score other goals outside of it. But predominantly, when people don't control their back line, I see them all the time just getting in these tackles and these blocks. And then it's me, and all you see me do is switch into my centre-backs constantly and switch into my full-backs constantly. And I still, 2 years later from FIFA 17 of that being the most efficient way to defend, I still haven't trained my mind to just leave the back line alone. And when I consciously make an effort, when I'm sitting here telling myself, don't switch into your defenders, don't choose those players, I play so much better. But when I start switching into my centre-backs thinking that I can manually tackle and stuff, I just concede stupid goals. So yeah, I need to improve on that aspect a lot. But here we are, guys. We're at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Love to see the discussion in the chat. I did get one walkout from the 81 to 86 rated packs. It was Pjanic. I appreciate you guys a lot. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm out. Peace.